Welcome into the Cafe Nightly Show. I'm your host, the Goldsmith. It is the 25th of September, 2024, and I'm going to run through the day's news because I've got things to do tonight. Did get a late start of things, but I did get a good conversation prior to getting things started tonight. So let's look at the two big pieces that are going on as announcements today. In-game chat challenges. This is something that Upland's rolling out, and we're going to expect a rapid succession here because they're saying a bundle of challenges. So I see that as many back to back to back. We'll take a look at the one that is active right now and the value of it, because this is a matter of self-reflection. It's a matter of community reflection. It's a matter of improvement, and we'll take a look at what that question is and how you participate. And then we do have the other piece, and that is racing updates. That is a big one that we've been waiting for a while, because racing has not been working the way it's supposed to. It's been such an issue that Upland has essentially postponed, or at least delayed, or at least let's say canceled. They canceled the racing series, the championship racing series that was supposed to happen for Sizzle season. That was what happened in the end of Sizzle season. They got postponed because things weren't working properly. The cataloging, the way the scoring was happening, the racing around the tracks was not functioning perfectly. There was glitches in some of the racing results. So they did not want to or feel comfortable with having that championship race. But now that the update has been pushed, we have more confidence. Upland's looking forward to a series of racing, a season of racing games started with our harvest season in just a week on the 1st of October. So that is something that's exciting. And whether or not racing is your favorite thing, there are some things that do come up with bugs or glitches, or they just don't get updated the way they're supposed to. And when they get fixed, and the faster they get fixed, the better it is. And it's nice to see that this is in place. We'll look at what that racing updates likely look like for this coming season. NFLPA Season 4 pass sale. That will be kicking off tomorrow. So that was a reminder to get ready for that. So we'll touch on that as well. And as we're getting ready to do so, we'll remind you that all views and opinions expressed by myself and their mind and mine alone should not be taken as game strategy or financial advice. They don't represent the game or the team of Upland. Our views and opinions of those who are guests, who are contributors, who come on the show, they are theirs and theirs alone. They don't represent myself, the Goldsmith, the Cafe Nightly Show. They don't represent the game or the team of Upland. They shouldn't be taken as financial or game strategy advice. That out of the way, let's take a look at a couple things. Again, we do have an official announcement, and we have an update, and then we have an in-game. So let's take a look at the official announcement is about the in-game challenges. Again, if you looked at in-game, these challenges originally said, or the announcement of the challenges said, a bundle of challenges is coming. And then you had the first one start. So the first challenge, the first in-game challenges, again, essentially look at it as a incentivized collection of opinions or suggestions. A new bundle of in-game chat challenges starts now. Means more coming. Head on down to General Channel now. Again, that's in-game chat. So in the game of Upland in the lower left-hand corner, we'll take a quick look at it. Why don't we? But in the lower left-hand corner, we see a little chat box. You jump in that chat box, and you can see there's a bunch of channels. There is a general channel where you can go in and essentially have general conversations. The problem with a general channel is it often is hi. But with these chat challenges, that conversation goes from being hi, I'm new, hi, to some relevant conversation. Some, hey, my suggestion is, or that's a great point, but, and the opportunity for conversation between parties, but also people to catalog suggestions or catalog statements if Upland is asking for a specific one. And with these challenges, that's what Upland's getting, these direct suggestions. And here is the request. Which feature or features would you most like to see in Upland? We'll be picking 5 engaged players to receive 20,000 UPIX each. In my experience on these, you can say it's randomized, you can say it's not randomized. Ultimately, there is an incentive for people to be more active. I know that sometimes people who make one comment, they win, and some people who made 10 comments or were part of the conversation for hours don't. Ultimately, it is an opportunity for you to be a part of the conversation. Upland is going to see these suggestions. They're asking for them for a reason, because they're seeing and they're taking a temperature check. They're seeing what players want, and maybe there's some ideas from the players that Upland doesn't have in development, they're not thinking about in profoundly, or maybe it changes some of their priorities if they can see a couple suggestions that coalesce or collate around a single issue or a family of issues. So this is your opportunity to go and make those suggestions that you've had in the back of your mind for years. You want something to be done differently? Here's your chance to do so. And guess what? You could get 20,000 OPICs by participating. This challenge does end at 9 a.m. PT tomorrow. So this is a flash challenge. This is something that's only so much time to get in and participate in. Again, 9 a.m. PT tomorrow, Thursday, the 26th of September. This is over. But hopefully during that period of 24 hours, essentially what started today at about the same time to tomorrow, there's plenty of opportunity for people to get in and make those suggestions, and maybe Upwind takes some of those seriously, and 5 of those people will be getting 20,000 UPICs as their reward for participating in the first place. So that's a good thing. We will continue to see, as Upwind says, a bundle of challenges. So I fully expect Upwind to drop some other ones. Maybe they're looking to get people to share experience of the game of Upland like we've seen before. Maybe they're going to get people on one of these challenges to talk about their favorite current aspect of the game, so they can kind of gauge what people's interest is and what people's interest has been, people's opinions of certain parts of the game that exist now. And Upwind has done things like this before, but it is important to do them periodically for 2 reasons. Number 1, the player base does change. And number 2, the consensus of the player base does change. Could be the same players, but the sentimentality, the way people feel today, the way people are interacting with the game of Upland, the way I interact with the game of Upland, personally, I can reflect back 2 years and see that is different than it was 2 years ago. And that being the case, it makes sense to ask me some of the same questions more than once every couple of years. So this is what Upland is likely doing here with this set of flash challenges. We will see more of these questions. You participate, you have an opportunity to get some UPICs along the way, and potentially have an opportunity to be a part of some solutions, of creating things, of making things better, of improving things overall. And 20,000 UPICs isn't a bad incentive if you are so lucky as to get picked along the way. Let's take a look, and I'll just show you, just for the sake of reminding people how easy it is to access the chat. Lower left-hand corner here with a little speech bubble. Click on it here. We do see there are a number of channels we can jump into. General is right here, and that is where people are going and making these suggestions. Oh, contest. Okay, I'm going to go and make some suggestions. There's some, hey, I'm new here suggestions in there. Go figure. Not a lot of highs. That's good. But there are a lot of people dropping in their suggestions for the feature they would like to see in Upwind that isn't currently there. So that's an important thing to, again, bring some consensus along the way. But what is also interesting there is it's still the general chat. So there is some other conversation going on there, including, hey, I'm new here. What's going on in Upland? Which you definitely saw there in the beginning. And again, there's a lot of other channels here. As a reminder, the private chat is right there. There is private chat in Game of Upwind. That's an easy way to get a hold of somebody if you're looking to ask a question. Try to buy a property that you can't buy in a normal means. Try to make an offer if the offer's not going through. Whatever the case is, in-game chat allows you the good opportunity to do that. Just that. We'll put that aside. We'll take a look at that sale that we're talking about, NFLPA, that is going on right now. Registration is open right now. Every Thursday, as we go through the season of the NFLPA season, look at that. I didn't even say the organization. That isn't the organization we have a partnership with. But the NFLPA, as the players are playing through their season, there is a registration every week, an opportunity to participate in a sale. Bundle sale each week is going to be essentially consistent, at least as of right now, where we're going to have a number of different bundles, different packages. We have a starter bundle, we have a pro bundle, and we have a pass bundle. We have opportunities for some of these to be in both USD and UPICs. Excuse me. Some of these bundles are in UPICs only, and one of the bundles is in USD only. We'll see that right along here, where there is a UPICs option on the pro bundle. There is an UPICs option on the starter bundle. There's an UPICs option on the essentials bundle. Again, essentials bundle not available in USD. The pass bundle, which is in USD only, not available in UPICs. We also have the pro bundle and the starter bundle available in USD as well as UPICs. One notation I like to make on these, if you take a look at these pricing, you will see that the USD side is going to be, now we'll take a look here real quick so we can take a look at it, is on the 1,000 to 1 scale. So essentially $15 USD or $14.99. Could you buy you a starter bundle up here? Or if I want to try to buy that starter bundle in UpX, I would click right here. I'm just registering, not buying at this point. Sale is tomorrow. We'll see that registration is free. But if I do get a chance and I do get in when we do have the opportunity to do so when the sale does open tomorrow, it is 15,000 UpX. So 1,000 to 1 is still what Upwin is using for the conversion from the USD to UpX in these sales, or the UpX, or USD to UpX or UpX to USD, that 1,000 to 1 variance, the 1,000 to 1 conversion. What I do want to put out here is this is something that's going to happen every week. What you're doing is you're buying the legits. If you're getting a pass, you're buying a pass for a memento based on that week. The mementos aren't available immediately. It is essentially 10 days after the sale. The reason it's 10 days after the sale is because, again, we have a week of football. And then there's a couple days, essentially, after the week of football is over, or really you get into the following Monday when the week of football actually, we can say that prior week of football is actually over. Then we can actually have the passes being redeemable and being based on that prior week's play. That's a key piece, is you are earning something out of the prior week's play by earning something out, by earning something out of the prior week's play. We do have the opportunity for it to be a different play than we could have imagined. So it is important that the play actually happens before you can do that redemption. So that's a key piece there. So don't expect you're going to be able to redeem your pass immediately 10 days essentially after that happens. Not the weekend immediately after, but the week after that. So keep that in mind. So that we can have actual mementos, we can actually use them, we can actually see, and it can actually have value to people who earn them and win them and redeem them. What we do see is, again, we'll look at that real quick. 5,000 UpX is the cost of the Mixed Essentials bundle that is purchasable anytime. There is, like I said, there is that 15,000 UpX on the starter bundle. There's 500 of those available. You do register ahead at the time of sale tomorrow at 9 a.m. PT. Depending on where you are in line, you'll have a different time where you can start purchasing. If those do get purchased out, which they have been on the UpX side, not on the USD side, but if they do get all purchased out, they're gone. They're gone for the week. They will have another sale in a week following. Again, the legits are essentially the same throughout the season. What's not the same is the mementos. The mementos are tied to the specific weeks. These bundle sales happening on a weekly basis. If you don't get what you want this week, you may be able to get what you want next week, but what you won't be able to get are the mementos. So that's what the kind of the push is the push for 1 week versus the next, is that people are trying to get a memento that ties to that week. Maybe they try harder in week 1 than they do in week 16, or vice versa, week 16 and week 1. Week 16, week 17, you may be looking at plays that tie into the end of the season. And when we talk about football in the United States of America, again, it's not a global game. The NFL, if they have their way, it will be a global game. They have the South America game. They have the London game. They have a game in London to kind of expand into the UK. There is American football that is played in the UK. There is a league right now that is a standalone semi-pro league. NFL is trying to cultivate more NFL play over time in the UK. They're doing the same thing in South America now. They have a South America game every year in the early part of the season. And that they're not there yet. They may never be. But this idea of expanding the American football into a larger and larger audience is something that they're looking at. But if you look to the people that do exist within the audience, the people who are following, there are people who follow, great plays that make the season, make the team that they care about get to where they want them to. They'll get to the postseason. Maybe it's a drive to the Super Bowl, and maybe someone's going to win the Super Bowl. Oops, I can say the language because I am just saying NFLPA is not associated with the Super Bowl. Okay. But if we talk about the big game, the end of the season game, the winner of that game, they get there because they did a number of things along the way. And, people who are big fans of a certain team, they look at individual plays and say, wow, that touchdown by that player that day, that really allowed them to win that game. And then they got into the conference championships, and they win the conference, and now they're gone to the Super Bowl. Now they win the Super Bowl. And they all can only do that because of this touchdown or this field goal. And that kind of collector mentality, that kind of idea of owning the gameplay is one of the things that Upland really targets these mementos at. And whether or not people are in the mentality and agree with that, and whether or not there's a collector's market, that is the mentality on the side of Upland, that people would want to collect these moments. That's what mementos are all about, is these moments. And when we talk about things like being able to have spotlight mementos that we've had in other places, or we're just talking about regular mementos that are in NFLPA, where we're highlighting the overall gameplay of an individual player, this player's gameplay, this game. That is an exciting thing. We don't have the spotlights in the same way as we do in other sports because of the rights. But even if we can say, or even if you can say in American football, if you can say this was an incredible game for this player, people have that memory years later. This drive that won the Super Bowl for this team, this drive that won the conference championship, or went from the wild card spot and moved them along in the playoffs because this catch happened. And if this catch didn't happen, then they never would have made Super Bowl. Those are all things that are on the mind of many football fans in the U.S. And again, that is the appeal, that is the draw, that is the collectability of the mementos to begin with. And that's, I'd love to see mementos be more valuable than they are. I'd love to see 2 seasons ago be more valuable than this season, as opposed to Upland incentivizing people to have this season's and Upland incentivizing gameplay with this season as opposed to last season's. But as it is, there are people who care. And to those people who care, this is your sale. Again, we do have these every week as we continue through the season. We're buying the mementos of the upcoming week, essentially Thursday Night Football game started. That's why the sale happens before Thursday Night Football. Go figure. It all makes sense, right? Every once in a while, things do. So the sale tomorrow, 9 a.m. PT. Registration's open today. Easy enough. Got that out of the way. Let's take a look at the racing updates. Racing updates are in Discord here, and it is in their live updates. The notes here are important. And everyone, we're dropping a new patch for racing to resolve ongoing issues within the next 24 hours. That means it hasn't happened yet, or it means it hadn't happened at the time of the announcement. It's going to happen over that next window. However, due to the number of challenges faced in this past season, yes, we know. If you were a racer, if you're somebody who was, trying to win their way up the leaderboard, you probably know what was going on in Sizzle season. We've made the decision to not hold a finals for the championship circuit this season. Here's how we'll be moving forward for this season into the next season. The top 10 prizes, the top 10 racers from each leaderboard will receive their respective prizes as originally listed. Again, there's people who stop participating because of some of these issues. There's people who feel that their scores are different than they would have been if these issues weren't the case. It disadvantaged people who, thought things would work correctly. They ended up being disadvantaged. So go figure. People participated differently than they would have if everything was working hunky-dory. But if you persevered, if you went through and you continued to have activity and continue to participate, there is still the prizes for the top 10. If we look at the championship circuit, which is supposed to have a championship race at the end, or a finals race, or final seasons race at the end of the season. Again, this is not happening this season, but there is a compensation that they did figure out. The top 12 racers for the championship circuit leaderboard will each receive 15 points on their championship circuit leaderboard. Again, the key here is Upland can't say if first place or 12th place would have gotten first place, because the idea of how you get to 12th place versus first place on the original leaderboard versus your success in an individual race, they're two different things. Therefore, everyone gets the same number of points, 15 points, towards the championship leaderboard who qualify, along with a unique block explorer as compensation for the season's direction. That direction disruption. So if you were in that top tier racing uh, leaderboard, your top 12, you get a block explorer as a oops, we're sorry. Plus, you do get 15 points. So you do continue to get points towards the year end championship. We're kicking off the harvest season with a clean slate. That means there was issues with the previous racing. Let's be honest, it discouraged certain people from racing. But the leaderboard starts back at 0. The issue should be fixed by this new patch. Obviously, Upland will monitor and make sure everything makes sense. But you start racing harvest season if you felt sizzle season was a disappointment. If you've never raced before, harvest season is going to hopefully work a lot better than our last racing season. Puts us in a much better situation for you to continue on to participate. Ready for a more competitive racing ahead. Go figure. We apologize for the inconvenience and appreciate your patience as we worked through these issues. Thank you for your continued support. Again, last season Upland was putting out some new updates that are allowing different functionalities and cleaning certain things up in the racing. And unfortunately, when some of those push forward updates and patches had gone through, they kind of derailed the whole thing or made many features not work the same way as they were meant to, made the racing not as smooth, make the visual appeal of certain racing elements not as smooth. Upland says it didn't actually affect the racing time. To many people it did, because if the visual effect is affecting the way you feel you're racing, it might affect the way you actually race. So that's been cleaned up a little bit here, and we're looking forward to a more competitive, more intuitive, a little more fun, hopefully, racing season this season for harvest season. With that, we don't have a lot else that's going on for announcements. The keynote is we do continue to move forward in the game of Upland as we do move into the next season, the harvest season on October 1st. We'll be looking forward to a couple more announcements for harvest season to get things started. We're going to get a reminder about the racing series. I'm sure that'll be coming up about the time of release of the new season at the very end of September, or like I said, the 1st or 2nd of October, the new season, harvest season. We're also going to see one other important piece, and that is the tasks. Remember, the tasks are really important for harvest season as they were previously for sizzle season. That is because there is an airdrop. There are actually 2 that are tied to this season based on the number of tasks you complete. The more you complete, the higher your multiplier, the more spark that you will get at the 2 airdrops. One of them is going to be catalog. One of them is going to be snapshotted on the 30th. That's right. The 30th of September. The other one is the 15th of 30th of, wow, I apologize. 30th of October, 15th of 15th of November will be the second snapshot, again, the end of the season. And then you get Sparklet based on those events or based on those positions when you get there. So looking forward to seeing how this runs and seeing how smooth everything is. And just keep it in mind that this is a part of the continual events of the game of Upland until all of the airdrops are done. That is, we got 4 more left. That is going to be a big part of the game of Upland. And maybe when those end, maybe we'll worry about getting totems back. I don't know. But it is enough. It is enough to keep people interested. And we've got the NFLPA going on. I'm sure we'll have some other things sneaking up down the future. One more reminder, this coming Friday and this coming Saturday, we are still doing the East Coast meetup. That is the community-led Upland East Coast meetup in Philadelphia this coming Friday between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. More details, you can get them by DMing me in the Game of Upland. But at the address off the top of my head, but Dave & Buster's in Philadelphia. I do have that address if you need it. You can probably look it up. I don't think it's 40, but it is on North. There we go. North Christopher Columbus Boulevard. If you look up North Christopher Columbus Boulevard and Dave & Buster's in the city of Philadelphia, I think there's only one you can make it to see us. 11 a.m. on Saturday, we'll start a walking tour that's going to go through the old city of Philadelphia. A good opportunity to see a little bit of U.S. history, spend time with other Uplanders, get some movement on your feet, and some miles on those treads of your shoes, and learn something, maybe, just maybe, and see a Rocky statue at the end, and maybe you have a cheesesteak, and Liberty Bell, man. So there's a lot going on. Looking forward to it this coming weekend. Good to see you, Wolf Warren. Good to see you, Trees. And looking forward very, very much so, Wolf Warren, to seeing you on Saturday. For tonight, thank you so much for being here Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. PT. We do get together to do a show. We'll see what things look like on Friday. We will see everyone tomorrow on Thursday. And if you're in the Upland Cafe, Discord Cafe, feel free to unmute your mics. The floor is yours.